Hey, good evening and welcome, fellow babies. It's Friday night and we're doing Weekend Update. And we've got all sorts of crap we're going to cover tonight, like big oil and big profits. These assholes are making hand over fist, and they're doing it on the backs of what? War and whatnot. There's some words for that, and it's ugly. We've got China sending balloons over. It went over Canada and North America. U.S. has got it there right now, and supposedly they've got like trained chihuahuas with binoculars doing reports, but we're going to get into it. Elon and Twitter, they got to deal with bathrooms or the bedrooms in the building, and how you can't just turn an office building into a fucking dormitory, you supposed genius. You got the ugliness of the Wagner group. What the fuck is Groundhog Day anyway? And a few other things as well. We got Charlie Welch is in tonight. Charlie, how's it going over there? Say hi or don't bother. Nah, fuck him. Oh, there he is.
Hi. Hi.
We got DKG Custom in tonight. Is he there?
Hello.
We've got Purple Rhymes with Orange in tonight. How's it going?
All right, Groundhog Day was formed by the Illuminati to cover up all the attention that hedgehogs were getting.
And we've got Lokifish Marz, who's got a quick tale for y'all.
Hey, everybody. So, as y'all know, I've been kind of researching that whole child flat earth video. So I've been over on Facebook, multiple groups, scanning, stuff like that. And I've been bashing on flat earthers left and right, relentlessly. So somebody sent me a PM asking why I was being so ruthless to flat earthers. And the first thing that popped into my head after I read that PM was, I have no fucks to give. My fucks have runneth dry. And
awesome.
what's really funny is for the past few days, I wake up humming that song with a smile on my face.
Right on. And it's appropriate too, because this week's Idiot of the Week is none other than Flatzoid himself. And Charlie's going to give you a little rundown on him as soon as we get to him. So, where do we even start tonight? Should we go right into the issue that is the whole big oil thing and massive profits, right? Like, here's a report here. Shocking oil profits demand crackdown. Washington's freaking out. A whole bunch of people are. But Chevron announced annual earnings of $35.5 billion. Shell had record profits ever this year and whatnot. And this is supposedly during, the war is making everything more expensive. Then how come profits are so fucking high?
Yeah, you notice that the CEO bonuses are always highest when the consumers are struggling.
Yeah, and there's another report we're going to get to here. The money is slated for shareholders who are screaming for payouts and payments and whatnot. There won't be any environmental concerns to this covered at all. There's huge money being made on the fact that supposedly the situation with Russia and, being a big supplier and them being assholes, so nobody wants to deal with them, is supposedly driving the prices way up. Well, if that's the sole reason, how are profits up? Wouldn't profits be down because, your costs are way up and you're still trying to, have a balance? There's no balance approach there.
I think we have to be very, very careful about this, because as opposed to it's like naming and shaming people, because it's like I've heard a lot of this about Shell in the UK, and people say, oh, they should be paying more tax. Well, a lot of the money that they've made and profits are from outside of the UK, and they already paying tax on those things in their countries, and in the countries where they're earning the money. So there's. Pardon?
I'm not sure. I think somebody didn't. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah. It's one of those sort of things that it really just kind of like get you back up and annoy you. But also Shell, they lost like 24 billion like in the previous year, so it's up and down quite a lot. So yeah, they've made profit this year, but they're also like fill in a gap where they didn't make profits.
Well, yeah.
It's one of those sort of things that, you know, if we had someone who actually properly business minded could probably, you know, put us straight. In the same way as we've got to be very, very careful, like, you know, when Dr. John Campbell talks about bullshit, and then you have you know, not conspiracy cats, what's he called now? Curiosity cats, culture cats. When he comes on and like points you to the right direction of the data, and you go, oh, okay, we were just, you know, being stupid. So yeah, I agree. It's like, what's going on? But at the same time, are we qualified to complain? Do we actually know what's going on?
Well, at this point, I wasn't complaining. I was just going over news there. But
no, you put okay, yeah, but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is there is the balance of economics and, you know, profits and stuff over years to consider and so on. Agreed. But the fact alone that you have record profits during a time when war is being blamed for said rise in fuel costs and people having serious issues and problems due to it does raise an issue unto itself. Never mind the history of that. That is,
absolutely. It does make you go,
yeah,
especially when you're paying the bills. You know, yeah, I know, I agree with that totally, and that's why it would be nice to have someone who's a level-headed mind to actually explain.
Well, this is from the White House. There's no reason for we the people to tolerate big oil's system of private taxation and wealth concentration. We need a windfall profits tax to mitigate future oil price spikes. Even more, we need much more public investment and much more aggressive policy to force the long-delayed transition away from dirty fuels to a clean energy future. It's not just consumers' wallets, but our very future at stake. Was
there any mention in there about the government wallets, about how much the oil industry is subsidized by the American federal government?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cash going in all directions at this point. It's going into government, you know, members' pockets. You know, God knows where it's all going.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's a report from Time. And here, I'll bring it up here. Yeah, for the most part here, do I got it there? Yeah. For the most part, major oil companies aren't going to pour these billions of dollars into climate mitigation investments like carbon capture technologies, nor have they signaled any immediate intention to bolster oil production, despite calls from heads of state to do so. Their inaction has spurred U.S. and European countries, which are under pressure to keep fuel affordable, to release oil reserves and replace Russian crude oil and liquid natural gas from other sources. Despite these government efforts, oil prices have stayed above $100 per barrel, sustaining an influx of money to fossil fuel companies that are passing it on to stockholders and investments in the form of increased dividends and share buyback initiatives that drive up the company's share values. It's being used for profit and to make sure you have a sustained profit flow for later, or on the stock market, that is, right?
Yeah. Business, in other words.
Yeah. It's all about suits and ties and stuff, and Mont Blanc pens and fancy whiskey, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. God knows. It's very hard to figure out.
Yeah. But, you know, it's a very, very interesting subject, because there's a lot of environmental harm that oil and gas should probably be made to pay for, at least partially, from years and years. I mean, you know, they're the ones that were funding science, that were telling us that lead was good for no problem for us and good to be in the gasoline. And that was a horrible lie. And
it's delicious.
Oh, yeah. Because it's made with lead. You know, those old fucking black and white ads that were out. But
meanwhile, have a cigarette.
Yeah. And I personally don't care if a really rich person on the stock market makes more money or less money because of the stock market. That affects me not. Don't care.
Yeah,
so
the oil is just like big pharma and all the other industries that just rule the world, really.
Yeah. So it's an interesting topic to think about, because when you look at it more in depth, like DK was saying, with some lean years and stuff, this should be a balancing thing. But as you see there, like, speculation is this is just basically going to benefit Wall Street. And
Can't deny that. Can't deny that.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem with, okay, so a business is in it for profit. Okay, that's fine. But if you look at how the profits are dispersed through the company, through the employees, it's always the upper tier that always gets the big bonuses and the big pay raises and the vacations and crap like that. Meanwhile, poor Joe, working on a rig or something, hasn't seen hasn't seen a significant pay raise in years.
Yeah, and people are right to get fumed or fumigated or whatever you want to call it when that sort of shit happens.
Fumigated,
engorged with rage. Yeah, no, they should. But we see that all the time with all kind of business. Doesn't matter what the industry is. There's some fucking just like, is your bonus of 55 billion zillion pounds. Now go and buy an island somewhere, you cunt.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think in the chat there? Big oil. Is it, is there a tad bit too much profit grabbing at a time when it was easy to raise prices because there was absolute market pressure to do so? I think yes. I think because of their expenses going up, they should be reporting a little less profit to help show that, they're sharing it with their customers, not just saying, fuck you, fit the bill and then some. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Let's see here. Where do we go next, eh? It's
the rare A from our resident Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It rarely comes out. Let's turn to China's balloon, right? Canadian pilots were warned of the untethered balloon amidst China surveillance concerns, right? So Canadian pilots flying over the prairie provinces, Ontario and Quebec, were warned to be on the lookout for the untethered balloon on Thursday. Warnings that came as the suspected Chinese surveillance balloon was also reported in American airspace. And this has been talked about quite a bit. Did they really do a surveillance balloon that was just so hopeless and useless that it ended up just floating around oops, sorry. Yeah, that's ours. You mind that, would you? Just let it go by. I'm sure it'll float into the ocean and sink soon. What the hell's going on here?
I love how they have to say it's untethered. Like there's a line going all the way back to China that they can wind it back in.
Yeah.
Just got away from their New Year's parade.
Yeah, is it in the shape of Donald Trump?
China, I know China's got economic issues with the whole real estate investment, non-investment weird thing they had for years going on that's bubbling now. But surely they can do better than just oops with a spy balloon, right? Are people jumping the gun? Is it really a spy balloon? Has this been proven yet?
Well,
I haven't heard anything that has been proven.
Times. Yeah, no, me neither. It just could be a weather balloon that's lost, got lost. But
the first article I read came across as certain, of course.
Oh, of course. But apparently, this sort of thing happens quite a lot.
Really?
Oh, apparently, yeah. Oh.
So it's just a matter of not reported as much, and when it comes up, it's just staggering. So it gets noticed,
Well, part of the thing is that China doesn't play nice with the international community. Generally, when you launch a weather balloon or any high altitude balloon, you generally report it to the rest of the planet, going, here's the balloon, here's its altitude, we launched it from here, this is where it's going, so that it can be tracked, and so you you don't end up running jets into the damn thing. But
Right,
China
that's
being
what-
China is just gonna be like, yeah, we launched a balloon. Fuck the rest of the world. They'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, I guess that does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
All right, I'm
and
gonna blow your head off now. Wrong mic. You can hear me now. I'm not 3 feet away. You can hear me.
that's better. Jesus Christ. Thank you.
That's what you get for unplugging your mic and plugging it into something else for a moment. There you go. I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Proper. All right. So yeah, we were talking about DKG and how he sounded so fucking thin and hollow. No, we weren't. We were just kidding. But yeah, so but that's the whole thing. If this kind of thing with a balloon is more common, it's just that it's China and it's getting more traction and whatnot. Do you really think it's going to be like a proper spy balloon if it gets grabbed and checked out and whatnot, or is it maybe just, something a bit more?
I think a lot of it is combining with the recent, I don't want to call it news. I got word from my nephew at the Navy and have seen some, people high up are saying that war with China is inevitable and going to happen soon. And I'm just wondering if that whole "it's Chinese" came from that.
I think it's scaremongering, because if you actually talk to people who talk about China, they don't think there's going to be a war with China, because China aren't interested in a war. They have their own sort of interest in their building their country up and stuff like that, but they're not interested in war. It's just not beneficial to them in any shape or form.
It seems to be a very expensive thing to partake in, and that's not exactly expensive. Is not on China's menu right now, as I see it.
Well,
one thing you can say is the American budget for defense is like the largest in the world. In fact, you could probably put every other nation's budget inside the budget for the American defense. So this is just could be like the government saying, hey, look, there's a reason why we're spending all this fucking money on defense. It just could be propaganda.
Yeah. Purple.
Yeah, I'm actually on what DK was saying there. The U.S. defense budget is equal to that of the next 12 countries behind it. But as far as a war with China, I think the question to ask is not, is it going to be expensive, but what do they have to profit? What could they gain from a war with the U.S.? Obviously, they could lose a lot, but what could they gain even if they win?
Well, that's what I was talking about my nephew, because he's basically majoring in Chinese political science. And he's like, the whole point was, what war have you ever heard of where trade continues unabated between two warring countries? If trade was affected between U.S. and China, fuck, they'd go broke. We'd go broke. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is, I guess you wouldn't technically call it a war, but there actually is a war with China, and it's been going on for a long time. It's all based off of economics and intelligence or data, the internet. And that it's been going on for years.
Yeah,
that's actually
Cold War. Yeah.
And in today's age, that's the most effective war.
Yeah, and it does, but it doesn't get the traction the Soviet American Cold War got. But you're absolutely right. Like media traction, I mean, media traction. You don't. Yeah.
The media aren't interested in that unless there's like bullets flying. That's the only time they get interested in about war. It's war.
That was perfect.
Beg your pardon?
I thought that added some drama to it, right?
Play it again.
What? Huh?
Play it again. Play it again, Sam. No, wrong button.
No, are you sure? Here we go. I've been working on some extra gags and whatnot, right? Gotta have them.
Are they funny this time?
Well, you laughed, so yeah, seems to be working.
I'll laugh at anything.
That's probably true. Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So, should we go to the next article, or did anybody else still want to sound off on the lost balloon knot and where it may land?
I saw that in the chat.
So did I. I can't remember who said it. It's like Tool something or
Tooling.
fuck. Yeah, that was a good one.
The thing is, what about all those Chinese lanterns people buy for, in their hundreds, and they're imported from China, and they set them off all over America, and they're just taking photographs all the time until they burn out. They've been spying on us for
in the ocean and
years.
kill all the whales. Good job.
Yeah.
That's funny.
News says that 30% of ocean trash is Chinese lanterns. You're on the buttons.
Yeah, I've got so many that sometimes I now can't choose fast enough for when I need a gag, whereas before with less it was easier.
Historical reference there. Were you aware that in World War II, Japan tried to attack the U.S. with balloon lanterns?
Oh yes, and they were actually successful.
Balloons over here and light the whole country on fire, and
Wow.
they've actually found the remains of a few dozens of these incendiary bombs in the Pacific Northwest. So a couple of them made it.
Yeah, no, there was two people were killed by one of those, if I remember rightly.
Wow.
Don't ask me their names.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just chucked them up into the Gulf Stream and they just flew over. Wow.
Yeah, that was in World War II. I forget exactly which year. But yeah, it really showed how Japan had underestimated the size of the U.S. That they thought that releasing 10,000 balloons was going to set the entire country on fire.
No, it's kind of funny you say you can't remember what year. It depends. It depends what side of the Atlantic you're on. Over here in the UK, it's 1939 to 1945.
Yeah, but hold on.
In America, it's not.
Are you saying that Nina's song 99 Red Balloons is actually a historical recount, but it's from China? And she was just,
It might have been the inspiration for all I know.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Google it. This is a historical fact.
That's funny. So I got one here I want to bring up, and we're getting close to the idiot of the week here, but on this one, we've really, really got to get out the Aimee Grub Muffin first, because I hope this isn't really the case. So this is from Newsweek, and Pfizer's being accused of obscene COVID profits after posting record revenues after the pandemic. Once again, we have a massive corporation that has hugely profited off of a situation that sucks for everyone else partaking in it. It's not a good...
My sister bought stocks in Pfizer at the beginning of COVID.
Smart play.
No, that's wise.
Yeah. Talk about killing it. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, is it surprising?
Well, no, and I didn't even know she had done it until like a year after.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the Pfizer profits.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they posted over $100 billion in revenue. Now that's revenue, not profit, right? But it's a 23% rise for the previous year. Now, when I read that 23% rise over the previous year during a pandemic, when your products are definitely going to get used more, I'm not sure if that's profiting off the situation as much as, maybe you could have made the vaccine a little cheaper. But well, maybe, but also in wartime, the
the arms manufacturers don't drop their prices because they're selling more tanks and machine guns and bullets.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was going to say. I'm not sure that the moral aspects of the argument, account for anything more than, jack shit. I mean, truly, because there's so much research and development that goes into things that it's hard for me as a person just sitting in a chair with a beer in my hand, to really denounce anything, in this situation. But one could argue that 23%, that's like a quarter. That's pretty huge when you're talking about 100 billion in revenue. Like, we're not talking about a few million where 23% isn't that big deal. So, I guess people do, somebody could easily have an argument that you could have made it a bit cheaper, but business is business. It's not like these guys are a government company and they're just there to break even and help the populace. So that's a tough discussion, man. Go for it in the chat, people.
Well, and also on the other thing, who were the customers? It wasn't people didn't pay for it, did they? It was the government paid
not
for
in
it.
Canada. Yeah.
So if anybody's going to complain, it's going to be the government.
Yeah. But if the government is the one that's paying, that means we're all paying through taxes, because the government doesn't just well, they do, but you know what I mean? They don't just print money, right? So
they do.
yeah, that's what I mean. Never mind the 2-hour shit show that would be explaining economics to a layman, right?
Yeah. Another thing on your point about just being revenue reported, in normal times, hospitals have, a good amount of vacant rooms. I don't know what percentage is normal. During COVID, they ran out of rooms. They're all booked beyond capacity. So were the hospitals just buying 30 or 40% more materials from them than they normally would?
Yeah. I just want to address Dog in the chat. No worries. We just had an issue where PayPal defrauded the Shills PayPal for a couple $100. Not PayPal themselves, but they sold these supposed fake gift certificates to the account. And because of that, there's an account that's frozen and cards canceled and payments not being made. Oh, it's a nightmare. Oh, I feel your pain, Dog. I hope you get through it. And I'm divorced too, so hope you get through that as well. Yeah. So, I mean, this is, this is, like I say, this is a real, one of those big issues that we could really go into. If you guys, if anybody here thinks that it's a good idea, I would encourage you talk to Aimee Hogan and Claire Bear, who hosts the Uncalled For on Sundays, because big profits from like oil and big pharma is a show unto itself that deserves a deep dive, and Friday is just not the show for that, right?
Yeah, and what's the worst part is Amy and me and hell, probably Orange too, and everybody else in America is in the middle of an absolute hellscape with medical bullshit. And I just imagine those big pharmas and oil and all these big industrial entities. Imagine if they just were fairly taxed, it would cover that. I might be way off base, and I'm not an accountant and can barely add 2 + 2, but it seems feasible to me. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, how does it work in the communist state? Do they? Do they? Well, I don't even know how it works financially over there, but it's almost like, okay, we're paying, we're seeing huge profits in the country, and it's shame on you, people making big profits, but we are getting the vaccines, where in the communist states where the financial system is different, they're not getting it, and it's, I don't know, it's probably like two sides of I don't know, two sides of a coin here. That
Yeah.
it's kind of wrong, but at the same time, it's working.
Yeah,
And
but are we the people allowed to put the morality of the situation into it when it's actually a financial question involving shareholders and research and development and stuff? I think that's the real root of the issue, isn't it? You know, I'd like to put the morality. Right. I'd like to put the morality into it because I think it deserves to be there when it pertains to the global health of the human race itself. But I'm not the one bankrolling this shit. Right. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if, as far as like with Pfizer and all, oh yeah, their initial, oh, here's our R&D, it cost us this much. So yeah, if we give you 100,000 doses, it's going to cost this much per dose. And then they locked that amount in. So while production and research costs dropped, the cost per dose that they were billing the government stayed the same. And I think that's where the profits came from.
Right.
Actually, in the U.S., while the drug companies duck behind the R&D cost as their excuse for everything, most of the new drug development is done by universities, which are also publicly funded.
Sorry there. I was trying to say something and I was freaking muted. Every now and then everything fails, right? Do you think, Purple, there's also a bit of responsibility on the side of government for maybe not putting pressure for a little bit of price restraint into things instead of worrying more about financing and payments over time and stuff?
Well, you know, the drug companies have a lot of lobbyists that are pressuring Congress. And that's why, you know, even what public health we have, Medicare, Congress has strictly forbid them from negotiating prices with the drug companies, let the drug companies charge whatever they want. They made a big deal about passing a bill this year or last year, you know, saying that they were going to let Medicare negotiate with the drug companies. But when you read the fine print, this affected less than 100 drugs.
Wow.
And it did not affect things like the cost of insulin, which the drug company is selling at like something like a 1,200% profit.
I heard about this. That's insane.
Yeah, in this time in this day and age, the cost of insulin should almost be damn near free.
Yeah, it's not like there's a lot of research and development going on, unless you're talking about delivery systems and detection. That's different. There's a lot of tech, but they're still using the same insulin, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the time here, and we do have a warning that Charlie Welch's environment might get horrifically noisy and whatnot coming up. So at this point, Charlie, if you're all set and ready over there, I think we should bring the viewers into the shit show that is our Idiot of the Week. What do you think, man?
That's not a nice thing to call Charlie.
Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen,
just look at that picture. That says it all. That's his channel logo. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, our Idiot of the Week is Flatzoid, of Flatzoid's Perspective, the channel name. And I chose to briefly highlight Flatzoid and moreover. And I realize some in the chat may be unfamiliar with him, probably most of you, and that's probably a good thing. But he has been around a while on the flat earth scene and vaulted to the lofty heights of Flurf fame when he was caught removing frames from a Red's Rhetoric video to try and make it show what he wanted. And to those who don't know, losing and getting caught lying only helps a flat earther because they never lose, and that's just another victory. And he started his channel quite a while ago, but recently has really stepped up the live streams a lot, and it started actually kind of decent. The chat was open, and a shit show, but it was open. And then he started doing, but it was open. And then he started doing, but it was open. I'm getting an echo. What's that from?
What the hell? Yeah, I got that too. Okay, it seems to be done. I just restarted the voice meter mixer. It should be good. I don't know what happened. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, anyway, but started out like a really good chat, and then within a week, it was reduced to a 20-person all-mod circle jerk. And now, I mean, this is all in about a couple months, and now the streams are basically church streams, and the whole side chat is just them arguing about who's right about God and who's wrong about God. So the cycle of a Flat Earth channel completed in record time for Flatzoid.
Well, I can settle that last debate. Everyone is wrong about God.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have mods like Arwen, but people wouldn't know. So yeah, I just hope that helps shine a little light on some of these people that we shine lights on sometimes.
Yeah, look at that. That's the channel logo there that we've cut out and put on the screen for you. Lokifish, I think you've dealt with Flatzoid once or twice, didn't you?
Oh, I've dealt with him a few times. He blocked me a couple of years back. This was back when he was putting cameras underneath tables and back during the 11 frames and to actually watch his change in his channel structure fail so quick. Oh, that's typical Flatzoid, because when he crashes hard and fast.
And looking at his avatar there, I mean, you should really wipe your mouth after blowing a John.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're searching YouTube. You're a total stranger to Flat Earth and anything like it, and you find this channel and you see that logo. Yeah, I'm taking this guy seriously for sure.
Yeah. Look at that. You know, if that isn't the kind of guy who would get caught with the furry set of balls hung from a donkey's fucking backside, nobody would. Like, right, look at his mouth is perfectly open just for donkey balls right there.
I will give him a little bit of credit because I like to when it's possible. He is employed and has a family. So it is just a piss take for him. But I think the clergy in his chat take him pretty seriously, like
the clergy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty bad when PJ CNET in the chat said, "Yeah, Flatzoid's videos are pretty damn stupid."
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that's funny. Well, let's give him.
There's a benchmark.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's give him the old Hank Hill salute here.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby!
So yeah, here I'll give you the little outro, and that's the idiot of the week, Flatzoid. Yeah. We're not even going to show you his content because lately, like he said, it's just this atrocious Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Flurps. So you don't even want to, man.
Flatter-day.
That's Flatzoid. Yeah, Flatter-day. So yeah,
Flatter-day taints.
the Church of Holy Shit of Flatter-day not saints. We need a different word there, but Latter-day Fools. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to need a beer, so I'm going to need somebody else.
Flatter-day Saints is one of the most disgusting flat earthers out there, and we don't want to.
Yeah, we can't do that. But so trust me, if you don't know Flat Earth and you think it's worth a laugh, remember, drink first. Make sure you've had something to eat so you can have enough alcohol to truly get through the evening of flirting. And when you're done, your YouTube recommended feed will be an absolute mess of bullshit. So do it in incognito mode. Trust me, save yourself the aggravation, because it's a one-night love affair. It's not like you're going back for more.
Yeah, and also you'll find that you start watching Flat Earth content, you'll just see a stranger on the street and just you'll just want to punch him just in case.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think FTFE had the best advice ever when I asked him about dealing with flat earthers on like a debate or something. He goes, get high, really high.
It's true. It's damn true. Oh man. So here, let me get that out of the way and head over. Oh, right, but that's not funny. I need something that's more lighthearted now. Here, hold on. Where's that one about that little furry fuck? Here we go. Okay. I need you guys to give me a cover for a second because Riley calls and I want to get a can of beer as well. So I'm sure somebody's got an opinion on something that can get us demonetized. Tell us your story.
It sounds, is he having a go at the Ewoks now? What's he doing? Or is he getting out his little furry friend? You know, the one he keeps in his underwear.
Mallory's a furry and our friend.
Does he keep it in his underwear?
Well, they both are in Canada. Hey.
Oh, I love it when Dick just walks
Mallory.
away and leaves us in charge of the house. Sorry, go on, Orange, save us.
No, I just didn't realize Mallory was a furry.
Oh yeah, well yeah, well maybe, except when she shaves, maybe I don't know. I don't know how it works.
That's probably part of the act. Yeah.
Modern women are like.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting digging up old flurfs and looking at them again. Where are they now? Same thing.
Yeah. Where's old Nathan Thompson these days?
Well, I do wonder, for some of these conspiracy channels, if they just do it to kind of build up enough subscribers, because you will have people who will buy the channel from you just for the subscribers. That's another grift that works on YouTube.
Yeah, like I think Ranty gave his channel to somebody and they quit using it.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I know Ranty passed his off, but I never thought of the grift purple. That's not a bad angle, Yeah.
Well, that's why sometimes in your YouTube feed, you'll wind up seeing channels that it says you're subscribed to that you never heard of. Because that was just, they sold off the channel to somebody else who, gave it a new name, gave it a makeover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and if you're listening, people, DKG Custom is available to purchase. Just send me an email and it's yours.
For 2 Bitcoins and 1 Trump NFT.
Yeah, a nipple clamp and a butt plug.
Yeah. And a partridge and a Republican tree.
Hey, I will never sell out.
Squared.
I know that to be a firm fact because it would require that there be someone interested in buying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will never sell out either unless it's for a good price.
Yeah.
The Wayne's World scene comes to mind.
Speaking of price, here we've got a really fucked up story that I want to bring up here next. So this is fucked up. Oh, there we go. A couple abandoned a baby at check-in at the airport after the airline tried to get them to buy the child a ticket. The baby was just left in its stroller at the desk, and the couple carried on to passport control.
What the
They
fuck?
just simply left the baby.
Well, yeah,
What
you got a
country was
holiday.
this in?
It was. It happened in Tel Aviv, in Israel.
Fuckofistan.
Yeah. Yes. Stop it, you and your advertising bullshit. But yeah. So according to the airport authorities, the pair traveling on Belgian passports arrived late for their flight to Brussels and navigated through the airport anxiously. The airline said the couple failed to pay for the child's ticket in advance. Without booking for the infant. The baby was left in its stroller by the desk as the couple carried on to passport control. They then proceeded to security, leaving the infant behind at check-in. Shocked staff had never seen anything like it. You know, this
They just
actually
walked away.
Yeah, this actually fucking happened. But
Yeah,
how?
just point out this is Ryanair. It's like a budget airline anyway. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, hang on. What it says, it's going to cost them $25 or euros. Is that what it says?
Yeah, but yeah, they would have $25 each one way if the baby's takes sitting on an adult's lap, and a car seat. You know, it's a different arrangement, right? But the baby was with the parents, and there was no further investigation. What? So
What?
like the airline didn't seem to intervene.
Yeah, there definitely would need to be an investigation to make sure that those are actually the kids' parents.
Holy shit. That's I just the human race scares the shit out of me. You're all fucked up. Not our viewers, but because everybody here in chat seems to make sense. I mean, even you, PJ. I mean, fuck, compared to this, buddy, you're right on the straight and narrow. It's no problem. But this is some fucked up shit. What the hell? There's no way it was their child. No way.
Yeah, they were
could do
trying
that.
to smuggle the child out of the country for some reason.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised they even let them get on the flight.
That's what I'm saying. How could the airline just not go, wait a minute, you forgot a child? It's not like leaving behind a fucking umbrella.
Yeah, why security didn't detain them and just say that, we got to figure this out first.
Yeah. Like, holy, that freaked me out to read. That's crazy.
Yeah, that whole story's fucked up because soon as they walked away from check-in, leaving their kid, security should have been called immediately. They should never have made it to passport.
I mean, the agent should have said, "Excuse me, you're not going anywhere." And there should have been.
Well, the agent should have called ahead to the security checkpoint and tell them that this couple is coming through. We need to detain them.
Yeah. That's some fucked up shit, man. Holy. But yeah, that's a pretty war-torn region and whatnot. And, it did say that they were kind of like acting anxious. And so, there could be more that comes out from this story after. Who knows, right?
Well, I am kind of thinking that, maybe they had like forged passports and they didn't have paperwork for the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
If people are desperate to, escape, like you say, like a war-torn country, it throws a lot of the calculations there for what they would do out.
Exactly. You could have somebody who was like, forced into a dirty thing, doing something bad at work because of war, and they finally escaped, and they were trying to get the neighbor's kid out and they just couldn't, and there's just so many ifs, ands, or buts in a situation like that, especially like Tel Aviv, right? I mean, come on, so. But a crazy story. I hope there's a better end for that child. I hope, they end up in the hands of a family that can actually do better.
Or at least put it on eBay.
eBay.
Yeah.
No. They shouldn't put it on eBay. The mother should put it on Etsy. It's something she made.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll have to name that child Vivian because they can call her Viv for short. Boom. Did we I got a great story here I'll show you here. scientists have actually made a step towards artificial photosynthesis. Scientists have recreated light harvesting supramolecules. Like, if we could do photosynthesis, we wouldn't even have to chase fusion. We'd be done. We'd be good.
Well, we'd never have to eat again. We could just go out in the sun.
Yeah. Imagine we could have cows that photosynthesize genetically, and that way they erase their own carbon footprint, and we could all have steak without guilt.
Gary Wybanga's hands would get green when he milks.
They have actually discovered a type of sea slug that is capable of photosynthesis.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's something I was reading about just this week.
Yeah. This whole thing with the supramolecules have been studied and studied. But Japanese scientists seems to have figured it out. A paper published in the peer-reviewed journal Chemical Communications last week outlines how researchers were able to synthesize and study the formation of light harvesting supramolecules, which they believe could be pivotal in future solar technology. And if they're right and it's true, that could give solar collection of energy the boost that we're going to need if we get a next generation of battery storage like solid state or something being highly more efficient and whatnot. We're going to need way better collection without having to take acres and acres of property and whatnot. I hope this is true.
Yeah, you could probably see the first actually true green car. It's just literally a plant on wheels.
It'd be like, oh, funny. I got it. Here it is. Here. Kia.
That's awesome.
Y'all are talking all this serious stuff, and I'm sitting here going, and then the supramolecules get released into the water table. People drink the water, then they die and turn into zombies. Photosynthesis zombies. Great. Another zombie apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has their own energy source. It's just at night, everybody just gets a little bit tired.
Well, that's why I'm not too worried about zombies. I figure living up where it drops below zero for a month every year, they'd only be a seasonal issue.
Yeah. But, for the human race, if we actually could figure out photosynthesis, we'd be living large. Like, we'd be way, way cool off, you'd have a little chia hedge on the top of your SUV and boom, you'd be styling, right? Oh, yeah. All you have to do is spread the seeds. But in reality, it is a cool thing. It would be cool, definitely. Yeah. There's this one here, the mysterious spiral over Hawaii Observatory. You see that right there? You see that?
Oh,
yeah. That is the end of the human race as you know it, coming at you right now. You see that? Yeah, that's going to open up and it's going to swallow the Earth first and then the rest of the solar system. Why? Reasons.
No, Dick, you don't understand. This proves the flat Earth because that's the night sky just buffering because of NASA.
Hologram regenerating. That's actually the moon. Arlen was right.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, it's an actual image from Mauna Kea in Hawaii, and they saw
these things have been spotted before in Russia and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, the spiral is most likely from a SpaceX satellite launch earlier that day, right? But the picture is cool. Like, it's got a real galactic sort of look to it, right? I like
definitely bizarre. Caught my attention when I saw the article.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks like it was something that was just photoshopped in there, but
it really does look terrible. It doesn't look like it's there. It looks like it's just smacked on there.
Okay, you're saying that they're connecting with the SpaceX launch. So what is that? Like one of the expended rocket
I
stages
think
breaking
that's
off
what
or
it said. I
something?
think it was what it said. It was one of those, and they tend to spiral when they detach and fizzle out or whatever.
Yeah, it's related to the maneuvers that put it into orbit.
Yeah, the separation spiral, the separation stage tends to do that spiral a lot. You see them a lot.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so if you're watching, you'll see that on most launches, huh?
Yeah.
Ah,
What
here.
was it? Someone in chat said it's China's balloon knot.
That's the entrance to the Supreme Leader's soul. But yeah, and then it just kind of boom.
We're going to call it Kim Jong.
Yeah, I think it was given to him by I had told you I would swallow, Supreme Leader of Iran.
See, I find it curious that it was photographed next to the ion cannon on Hoth.
Well, no, that's down in the Yucatan Peninsula. When they did the whole over the forest shot, that's one of the Mayan cities, right?
Speaking of Hoth, hearts and thoughts and prayers for Aimee and folks in that part of the country. I've read that northern Maine tonight at elevations, which they don't have a lot, but there is some, could hit minus 70, minus 80 wind chills Fahrenheit. That's fucking a different planet.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I got that all queued up here. Dangerously cold weather sweeps across North America. minus 50. Minus 50. So BBC, we're talking about like old school units here, right? But look at that blue swath. It comes all the way down by left of Hudson's Bay there, west of Hudson's Bay, comes down through, I guess that would be like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, into Ontario, all into the northern states there and across all of Maine, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland. I guess that's like New York and New Jersey and all that there. It's damn near down to Florida. It's close.
There will be lots of power outages, and that kind of cold can. Oh God!
Now that minus 50 there is that the amount of likes it got?
Yeah.
Actually, to make it easier for people around the world, minus 40 is the same on both temperature scales.
Yeah, Heat Shield in the chat is in that area too.
Wow. Take care over
Stephanie
there.
Helm was in Maine in my chat earlier. She was talking about that.
Yeah, Aimee Hogan on the Shills here. She's in Maine, right on the coast, on an island, and it's going to be brutal for them because they always suffer power outages. And she's got oil for her heat, so this is literally going to cost her like $100. It's going to be a nightmare. Oh yeah.
Well, that's assuming that her heat keeps running, because even if you're heating with gas or oil, if you've got an electric thermostat, you've got no power, the furnace shuts down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You'd have to have a really old school setup for it to still work, right? You'd have to have like you'd have to have a
thermostat that's just working on, well, actually, I can't even think of one that would work that doesn't use some electricity.
Well, if the furnace itself had a thermostat on it to control like hardware wise the way like an old steam car would for things and whatnot, but I mean that's an old school system. I don't think you could even insure a unit like that. They're all electronic now, right? No way.
You use little old ladies as the thermostats because once they put on the third cardigan, it's cold.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, they're calling for some nasty shit. Powerful Arctic. Sorry,
we broke records on Christmas, and this is worse than that. Way worse.
Yeah. Who Dat Dragon is saying my house has gas heat, and the thermostat requires batteries. But even the electronic ones that have batteries, the battery actually only runs the clock and the thermostat. It still won't turn the furnace on if you don't have power. because all the thermostat does is send a signal to the relay in the furnace.
Right.
And the furnaces have relays that check if the power is on, because it won't ignite the pilot light if it doesn't have the power on.
Right. Yeah, like look at here. In Maine, for example, parts of the state are expecting the lowest temperatures recorded since 1971. In the city of Portland, wind chill is expected to reach minus 41, which is minus 40 Celsius. That's where they're like basically in step again. And I live in the western side of the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia. I know all about wind chill. My valley is literally, kind of called the Valley of the Wind, and minus 40 is unfucking livable. It's inhuman. Holy shit, is that cold? Fuck.
Yeah. Your breath literally freezes in your nose and mouth. It's bad. The coldest I've been in is about negative 35. And even that was painful.
Christmas here. Yeah.
Well, it just, you don't go outside for much, anything like that. And the funny thing is I know folks that live up in Connecticut and up that way towards Maine, and anyone with an older house, most of them still have an old Franklin stove in their basements.
Yeah, it sounds brutal. Parts of Canada are expecting temperatures anywhere from minus 38 Celsius to minus 50 Celsius.
Yeah, and you throw wind chill. That's the figure I shot out that I saw that. Yeah, I thought I saw had to be a typo when it said minus 70 or 80 wind chill at elevation in northern Maine. Good God.
It looks bad, man. So, we really got to urge all you fellow babies out there, if you're anywhere near this, holy shit.
Now I'm really disappointed. I don't see any propaganda in this. Why aren't we blaming this on China or the Russians?
Well, I am. I just don't talk about it.
You also have to consider, versed on what they're used to, okay? Like, I'm in Minnesota. Wind chills of 40 below, they're not common, but they happen once in a while. We've learned to deal with that. People where the temperature normally doesn't get more than a couple of degrees below freezing, they're not going to have the clothing for it. The houses aren't insulated for it.
I mean, what's the average temperature down at the Antarctic?
It's fucking warmer than that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know.
I remember on the Friday before Christmas here when it was absolutely god awful, like I'd never seen. I looked at the current temperature at the North Pole and it was about the same. So this is probably worse than that. But being as this weather system is from up there, it might be just as bad up there.
Yeah. I just, I urge everybody, make sure you take it seriously and be prepared and be ready. Because if you're in a situation where you're not used to that and it hits you, it really hits harder than you're expecting. Be ready.
Yeah. Did it say anything about how long they're expecting it to last? Can people just hunker down for a couple of days and let it pass?
Let me see here. As I understand it from this, it seems to be a 24-hour warning for the deep cold and a 48-hour warning overall. But this is weather. This is meteorology. So I would be prepared for like 3 days. Good.
Yeah, just don't go outside if you can at all avoid it.
Yeah, very much. Very much.
Yeah, sit and watch reruns of Day After Tomorrow on your DVD player.
Hey, hon, Alive's on tonight.
Day After Tomorrow, that would be like Betamax, I think.
Hey, I would skip past all that stuff And there was a series, I think it was from the Discovery Channel, called After People,
Yeah,
which
that was
is just
good.
about after the entire human race is extinct and how all the other life forms are reclaiming the cities.
Yeah.
That was cool. It would be like 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, 500. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I agree. That was a good one. That was a good
Yeah.
one.
I can't wait.
Oh,
Me
if
either.
for those that are stuck in those freezing cold temperatures, there is one fun thing you can do if you have power. You boil a pot of water and you throw it out the window. It instantly turns into snow.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yep. Yeah, the water freezes literally before it hits the ground.
Yeah, I did that with Felix once, and I opened the window to do it, and he's looking at me like I'm insane, and then I fling the pot of water out, and the look on his face was like, again. For sure, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check the wind direction before you do it, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So we should bring this up here. Elon Musk, the Twitter building, headquarters, city officials and whatnot had to get in his area because he did that whole thing where he was going to have like sleeping areas and bedrooms or whatnot, and you can't just take a building that's, zoned for office use and decide to let people have little bedrooms and stuff set up. And they were like, convert them back to offices in 15 days, So I'm sorry, Elon. I know you get picked on a lot these days, but well done, genius. Any idiot would have known that was going to end in failure. You've got to be kidding me.
Now, I've worked in an office, and there already are sleeping areas. It's called a desk.
Yeah.
I don't know. He has a great idea. It's coming from a good source. I mean, it works for Foxconn, right? I mean, the next thing you know, he'll put nets on the roofs.
Yeah. And you can have your own balcony that has an anti-suicide net strung over the edge of it just to make sure.
Hey, if your corporate headquarters has sleeping rooms and a food court, you don't need to have a front door. There's no reason you ever need to let the employees out.
Yeah. Now,
Dick, you don't need the suicide nets because you've got to chew through the chains first.
Yeah, that's true, right? Let's face it, you need fucking adamantium teeth. But if you're one of those persons who is willing to put in overtime and get paid for said overtime, I don't know how that works at Twitter, and you're really content to just simply work, eat, sleep, and shit or whatever, clean yourself now and then, and that's all you need in life. So having a tiny little place to have your laptop set up and go to bed and have your clothes and whatnot right at work would be a great idea. Okay, fine. Maybe society needs to look at people like that, but you would have to be so careful with it because all somebody like Musk has to do is make sure you're not paid well enough, and now you have to live in his dorm, and boom, it is Foxconn, right? That's it.
Yeah, but does he come
exactly
round? Does he come round? Does he come round, tuck you in, and read you a story at bedtime?
Are you kidding? I want those somewhat ruby red lips all over me if that's the case. Come on. But that's the thing, right? That's a slippery slope. I like the Italian way of doing things where you're not allowed to eat lunch at your desk. It's law. You must fuck off and go and do it somewhere properly. You're not allowed to send work emails on the weekends and stuff by law. They have a clear separation. Life is life. Work is work. They're much better at it.
Have you ever worked with Italian? It's fucking hard to get anything out of them. It's breakfast, it's lunch, it's mañana. Having a nap time, it's cigarette break. It's like fucking hell, get something done.
Yeah, well,
have you seen the Roman Colosseum? It's still not finished.
The one thing I remember from working with an Italian was, please bring lunch from home. You can eat at the cafeteria. I'll eat your mother's cooking. Thank you.
I was wondering where that sentence was going.
No, he'll probably end up employing a rather sound business model that a lot of corporations, try to put in. Because you mentioned overtime, Dick. Well, you know what? If you put everybody in salary, there is no overtime.
That's the whole thing. That's why I said it that way, because I was pretty sure that the only overtime you're getting paid is there's your cot. Right?
Yeah.
You can work 18 hours a day, but you can sleep here, right? Fuck. Yeah, that can never be allowed. Never.
It's kind of interesting though, because I remember it's like driving through London in the evening with my daughter, and then you had all these huge office blocks, and all the lights are off and everyone's gone home. The building's fucking empty, and yet you got all these homeless on the streets. And you just think, well, wouldn't it be great if those office blocks could turn into dormitories at night? And there is actually something potentially interesting about that concept. I know nobody wants to just like live and sleep in the office the whole time, but
No, but there is actually a grassroots push that's starting to gain traction where people are starting to look at somewhat empty office buildings and thinking, should we be rezoning these into more apartment-like situations? Because I mean, if people are working from home more and more, and you don't have need for all these vast floors of cubicles, what are you going to do with the space? And if you turn it into living space, then they're much closer to their whole little community and people like that. The only thing is those buildings were designed to bring in a lot more per floor economically than one bedroom or bachelor suites could ever, right? They would have to be luxury suites.
Well, although the economics have changed a lot over the last 20 or 30 years, and now it's virtually impossible for anybody to afford an apartment in a downtown area.
Yeah. But it's funny. If you go back to a movie like, I guess it was late 80s into the 90s, Michael J. Fox, The Secret of My Success, he's trying to be a young executive. He's out of university. He gets a low-end job in New York somewhere, and the only thing he can afford is a rat-infested shithole one-room place. I mean, that's kind of been the trope, the meme or whatever for a long time now. But at this point, it must be astronomical. Like, how does anybody who simply makes a living working at a coffee shop live in a big, huge downtown city center like that anymore? I can't imagine it.
It only works if you have 4 roommates in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. And I mean, even in the late 80s, early 90s in Vancouver, for myself, we would have 3 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. One person had the living room as their bedroom sort of, place. 2 other people had bedrooms, and you had a kitchen and a place to eat in the dining room or whatever. And it was always some, university feeling joke. Yeah.
Yeah, like the TV show Friends was an outright lie. That apartment probably would have cost $10,000 a month.
With that window in the living room and shit and whatnot,
And
that
only
place
one of
was
them had a
worth a
job.
fortune, man. Oh, yeah. But, I guess that in and of itself is another damn, show, right?
Well, Penny worked at the Cheesecake Factory, and she managed to, to afford a nice plush apartment too, next to the boys who were scientists.
Ooh, what?
The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah. She worked at the cheese place. Yeah, that's and she didn't need a roommate or anything. Yeah.
No.
Hey, Penny was an aspiring actress. We know what goes on the casting couch.
Yeah.
You don't get paid on the casting couch. Believe me,
Oh.
I've tried.
Okay, now this conversation needs a derail. We're not doing the casting couch, for the love of God.
Who do you have to fuck to get a break in this town?
Is that the transition to Puxatawny Phil and Groundhog Day? That's
Just as good as any.
It was a seamless transition.
But you know, think about it out there, people. Groundhog Day. Who the fuck started this? Where does it come from?
Hey, didn't we talk about this last week?
I don't know. Was I drunk? I don't seem to remember it.
I was trying to look up the history of it, and unfortunately that fucking movie is so searched that there was no way on Google to find anything about the actual history.
Yeah, it does ruin it. I know, I had that problem too. So this supposedly is going to tell us the bizarre history of Groundhog Day. I haven't even read it. Every year, Americans, blah, 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 blah. It's about as strange, as cute as holidays get. So we explore it, blah, blah, blah. Groundhog Day was originally celebrated with a badger? God.
Well, you know what you can do with that badger.
Yeah,
I found
shave
something
it.
about that.
Badgers will fuck you up too. That's why they didn't keep it.
Sorry, Orange.
Is Gobbler's Knob a real place? I thought that was just like.
Nope.
Are you kidding me?
It is an actual location in Pennsylvania, yes.
It's a lake term, and in Missouri, there's tons of towns with knob
Wait,
in front of
No,
them.
wait, no. Isn't no, Gobbler's Knob is a tier on the Shills membership page, isn't it?
If it isn't, it should be. I'm broken. I need to say.
And if you're not a membership of the channel, please become a member and click the Gobbler's Knob tier.
Yeah, okay.
For all the special, extra special, things you get from that. What do you call them? Perks.
Yeah. Actually, there's going to be real ones coming up. We're going to fix that. But before I say, well, if I say anything right now, the ideals will be changed and it'll fuck it all up. So I won't. But the early seeds.
Write down Gobbler's Knob.
Yeah. But hold on. Speaking of Gobbler's Knob, oh, dear God. The early seeds of Groundhog Day that we know were planted thousands of years ago, according to Dan Yoder, cousin of Yoda.
Cousin he is.
Born and raised in the groundhog country of central Pennsylvania, who penned the definitive history of the folk holiday turned a national transition.
Tradition, not transition.
I'm having a hard time here.
You're just losing it.
Yeah.
Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania is about 80 miles northeast of Pittsburgh. There it is. I pulled it up on Google Map.
But it's why is it called that? Like, seriously, did nobody in the town have a forward-thinking brain cell and think to themselves, Gobbler's Knob? You know, that might not age well.
It probably wasn't the people in the town. It was probably the map maker in Pittsburgh who didn't really like the people there.
Well, like I said,
It's whatever the map
service.
maker wrote down that goes into history. That's why this country is called America, because the continent was drawn by an Italian named America.
Okay, here. I got another one here from Tony Regime. Yeah, Groundhog Day. Pennsylvania German. Guten Sonntag. Groundhog. That sounds like you just ground them up and turned them into sausage. Groundhog. Groundhog. And something else with an M I'm not even going to do because it's going to end up getting us taken down for, I don't know, pro-Nazi propaganda or something. It derives from the Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerges from its burrows on this day and sees its shadow due to clear weather, it will retreat to its den and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. Really? So it's the Dutch, the dudes with the tulips and the wooden fucking shoes that brought us about to the point where we can't even look up the day without the movie getting in the way. Actually, I should give the other guy shit for the movie on that part. Okay. But the wooden shoes, that was weird, dudes. Come on.
I'm also questioning when they say Pennsylvania Dutch because most of that is badly done. Usually when somebody says Pennsylvania Dutch, it was supposed to be Pennsylvania Deutsch, that it was a heavy German community that settled most of Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah, Dutch ninjas were a huge failure in those wooden shoes.
The tale of the Dutch ninja.
And that's,
Also-
that's how you end up with oracles like Arwen.
What I was actually searching for early in the week was trying to find the poem about, the whole Groundhog Day prediction, because everybody forgets half of the poem, and I couldn't remember the wording. But it says that if the groundhog sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't, then spring is just a month and a half away.
Which is
Oh.
So it really means fucking nothing at all, but people always forget that last line.
So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
Now, hands up, who thinks that this little holiday thing was pretty, insignificant, relatively unknown until the movie came out. And then it's like it got a big resurgence and everybody was fucking doing Groundhog Day because, Groundhog Day. Yeah, well, I've seen that movie. Yeah,
I think there's something to it, but I see it every year on the news when
Yeah, I
the
was going to
traditional
say,
groundhog or whatever.
Yeah, but I've never heard of it before until the movie.
okay,
Never heard of it.
Before the movie came out, there were national news programs that were broadcasting the groundhog from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
on
yeah. Up in Canada, Purple, I knew Groundhog Day since, I was born. Right? No problem.
Yeah, me too.
On a sadder note, Canada had their equivalent, but when they went to check, they found the groundhog was dead.
Oh, yeah, they had some kid dress up or something, didn't they?
Yeah, well, and okay, a lot of the reports are saying that the groundhog died on Groundhog's Day, but actually, if you read into it, he was just discovered dead on Groundhog's Day. They think he died in hibernation.
Ouch. Ouch.
Hey, dying in your sleep is about the best way to go.
Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, it's a lot better than, like to die in your sleep is a lot better than being one of the passengers in your car when you died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they should have done is skinned it, turned it into a puppet like Caddyshack.
We've got a really great shout out to do here. Hold My Beer has become channel member Shills Master, no less. So yeah, Hold My Beer, welcome to the family, and I will hold your beer, but wash your hands in there. Yeah, because I don't want to hand it back to you then, right?
He couldn't find the cock goblet here.
Yeah. You got to head down to Gobbler's Knob because they hold your beer and they service at the same time.
To the bar with a happy ending.
So, we got about what? I don't know. 20 minutes.
I did like PJC's comment in the chat where he says, "Yeah, I liked Groundhog Day with the movie. Well, I watched it the first time. After 20 times, not so good."
Yeah, and
I mean,
you know what?
There's that film Deja Vu. You should see the sequel, Deja Vu 2. It's terrible.
Yeah, I will also say, how many dudes out there in the late 90s and through the 2000s did one of those third or fourth dates where you're staying home to have drinks and watch movies, and the other person suggested Groundhog Day as a good date movie? I bet it came up 3 out of 10 times in my world during that time frame. It just, it was,
it's not, it's not a good look though, is it? It's just like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie. So let me see if I can figure out ways I can lie to you to get you into bed.
I know, that's what, like, it's like that song by Extreme, More Than Words. It sounds like a great love song, but if you actually listen to the words, what he's saying is, shut up and fuck me, because I wouldn't need to hear you tell me you love me if you would fucking show me. That's the meaning of the song. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Yep,
well, if you look at it, most rom-coms, if they happen in real life, would just be a case of a stalker and somebody would get a restraining order.
Not wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, just on other news, Gary Glitter has been released from prison, by the way.
I saw that. He is a horrific piece of shit. Did you see the photo of him? He looks like his asshole gave birth to his other self and he is now his own anal twin. He is just horrific. It's so bad.
You want to be in my gang, my gang, my gang. You want to be in my gang.
I'm not from the UK. We only know rock and roll. Hey, that's the only one we know. That's the only one we know. And the only reason we know it is because it was picked up by hockey teams in the 80s. Dun, 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 hey, as a rally cry for your team. The Vancouver Canucks used it prolifically in the 80s. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know.
PJ will back me up. He was actually really big in the UK. He's also big in children's buttholes, but
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, but he's a horrific piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I don't know anything about him, but I listened to a lot of football.
Oh, he taught Andrew Tate everything he knows.
Oh, okay.
I must admit, so looking back at it when I was a kid and you see him on the telly and you go, he's a bit weird. Yeah, there was something about him.
Yeah,
didn't taste good, if you know what
I mean. Yeah. So, does anybody want to go into anything before we do wrap ups and stuff? We got like 10 minutes, and there was a couple other serious topics we could go into, but
we got ages to go. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Yeah, well, I don't know about serious topics now. It's kind of like we're done with that, and it's a little bit more lighthearted, That's what I was thinking, like...
you can take a serious subject, Will, to make it lighthearted. Don't you worry about it.
What you're saying is you want me to make something up off the cuff and see how many people believe it was a news story.
There you go. That's exactly it. Except you're fucked now because, PJ will still believe you, but everybody else, Hey,
Dick, have you got the picture of the bear found on Mars?
Oh, I think I do. Hold on here.
A bear on Mars? I didn't know the Russians had a space probe going.
Yeah, he's sexy
life
too.
has been found.
Yeah, here we go. Look at this.
Mars.
Yeah. I do believe in the world of bears. I think that's loving bear, but it also could be curious bear. I'm not really sure, but that is definitely proof that the Care Bears came from Mars.
Even better, Grumpy Bear, and he was exiled there.
Loki, did you export Winnie the Pooh to us?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it
his
turns
little
out
face.
it turns out that Lokifish Marz and his partner from the home planet have now filed a cease and desist order against the family that hold the rights to Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I want Mars to sue Disney. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. And this is proof that monolithic construction dates well before the Egyptians.
Wait a minute. Somebody was up there today when it was built?
Yeah. Well, the Martians were there. They know when it was built. Unfortunately, other than Loki, they're not really talking right now. And all we get from him is shits and giggles, So, we don't know.
You have something else about the Wagner group that was in your the title.
Yeah, that's not a lot of funny, and we never got to it, and I'm just not in the mood for that right now.
Make it funny. I tell you what, isn't it ironic? There's a quartet of musicians from Russia who call themselves the Mozart group.
Yeah, that whole Wagner group thing, we'll tackle that next week in the intro part where it's not all shits and giggles and we're being a bit more serious in the beginning. But they're horrific pieces of shit. And, if you ever meet somebody who professes to be a member of it, kick them in the balls, grab them by the foot, drag them to a ditch and leave them there to fucking die. That's probably good advice.
Yeah, that's a good hint. Yeah, good tip.
Yeah.
See, we give real, advice on this channel too. It's not
more so than Top Gear ever did. This is real world advice.
Consumer advice for the Wagner Group and other. Let's should also point out that there are also other mercenary groups out there in the world. So it's not just the Wagner Group. So.
No, and they deserve the same treatment. Pissed on, shot in the head, and left for dead. Every fucking one of them. Pissed on, shot in the head, left for yeah, in that order. Yeah, I got it right. I just wanted to make sure. We're all about consumer advice here, people. So we want to make sure that you get your goods, right?
You use that phrasing.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Purple, just before we can move on. You didn't squeeze in being Facebooked by a dead badger, but, that should be included in there. But so over to you, Purple.
I was just going to ask if Dick had used that phrasing just in case we hadn't been demonetized yet.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't look. But these days, Purple, it's gotten so bad that literally we get demonetized during our 2-minute countdown before the live stream starts. During the City of New York tour that says weekend update, the stream will start in 2 minutes. YouTube puts us yellow during that now. Like, what chance do we have? Right?
Yeah. I would like to know their justification for that.
I know. The music is from the YouTube library, which they promote as the one safe place to get music from, so it can't be that. The video is from a YouTuber who has granted us full rights to use it. Link in the description. Breakmation, great YouTuber. Does really cool walking tours of New York and stuff about fashion and eating and whatnot. And so it can't be that. And there's nothing vulgar or anti-advertising in any way in our intro, and yet it gets us demonetized.
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, you've been vaccinated. That's connected to your phone via 5G, and so Google know what you're thinking.
Yeah, actually, I got the upgrade, so I'm all set for next generation. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're on 6G, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I have to do is say, all I have to do is say Shazam, and boom, I'm on the next network. It's great.
Yeah. You're an AI bot. You don't even have to show up on these shows anymore. We just just run the AI, run the dick AI, and the show's done.
Dude, I'm asleep in bed right now. This isn't even me.
Oh.
Well, that's better
Yes,
than mine. I tell people that I never drunk tweet. Anytime they see that late at night, I'm in bed, and that's autocorrect trying to make sense of my cat walking on the keyboard.
and just so you all know, I'm not even here. I'm just Dick's dick with a microphone and a headset.
Icarus said it. It's Dick GPT, man. You know what? It really sucks. So I'm gonna hit this gag, but we were hoping that our idiot of the week, what was his name again? Flatzoid was gonna show up because we had our dog set up for the troll in the chat. So no offense to anybody in the chat. This isn't to you, but I want to show you the gag because damn it, I was all set to trigger this, but this is what the trolls get now. Oh, I love it.
Well, tell you what. Get PJ, say something silly.
Yeah. Yeah, but it didn't work out, damn it, you know. What are you gonna do, you know?
PJ says something silly.
Oh, that's funny. Here, Loki has a reaction to that. I saved that for a thing, Loki.
Yep, another flat Earth research facility destroyed. Good job.
Yeah. I got lots of new gags in the toolkit. I just haven't gotten to use them all yet. I can't wait, you know.
What do you mean? What do you mean flat Earth facility? It's a porta potty. What are you talking about? That's all they need. When you see we see them on the side of the road, you know, those like blue, you know, boxes of people go and shit in. I call them the Turdis.
Dr. Pooh.
Dr. Pooh and the Turdis. Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
well, that bombshell.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't start giving the Asylum ideas for movies, okay? Please.
Actually, as soon as they'd said that, I was already seeing a South Park parody on it, you know, with the Christmas Pooh.
Yeah. Mr. Hanky.
Me and Charlie got that trademarked, so you know, you have to come through us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody here's a notary.
Well, you know, we should, you know, just going back to that discussion we had earlier about, like, you know, religion and stuff, we should give them a shout out just to make sure everybody feels, you know, equal.
Holy Spirit, activate. Oh no. Holy Spirit, activate. No. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate.
Did it work for you? Didn't work for me. I got nothing.
No. It didn't work for her either. She didn't win, did she?
No. Yay.
Well, normally cringe is just an expression, but when you play that, I feel like every muscle in my body, every cell in my body tightening up simultaneously.
Yeah. Here,
survey says crazy.
Yeah, that's called cramp.
I can do Purple's reaction to that.
I fucking love that dog.
Pretty close, yeah.
Well, shit. I think we're close here. There, you know, when it comes to Care Bears on Mars, I really just want to make sure that everybody understands this is our first contact moment. We finally have proof of intelligent life on Mars. No offense, Loki, but you know, this finally proves it. And as such, you should all welcome your new Martian Care Bear overlords. And who knows? Maybe they have good weed. I mean, you know, you got to hope for something, right? I think that's yeah.
The side chat had pointed out that it has no ears, so we won't be able to talk to it.
They're swept back in anger.
That's a good point.
I mean, in the future, and we were talking about show topics, and we were going to talk about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence at some point.
Yes.
I'm still banking on us doing a discussion about not extraterrestrial, just terrestrial intelligence. The search for terrestrial intelligence. Yeah, we're fucked.
Well, real briefly on that, I read that they put like every signal that we've ever had into AI, and it shot out 8 that it couldn't.
Oh yeah, they got 8 new. They got 8 new ones. Yeah,
out of millions, and that's pretty cool.
Just got to wait for them to repeat. Yeah. And if it's anything like the BBC, it will be like next week.
Yeah.
What about if aliens have never thought of reruns? You know, that will never happen. It will never comport to what the SETI requires is the repeat signal. So we're not sending you. We're sending you new material. It's new content every week.
That's the Orville joke. I don't know if anybody here is watching the Orville or whatnot. I won't spoil it for you, but they literally trade episodes of reality TV to get people out of jail. It's so funny, man.
There was a stand-up comic who said that was the advantage of doing the seniors' homes, was that he could go back every week and nobody would realize he was telling the same jokes.
Oh, Max in the game there. Sorry. There was a couple people in the live chat talking about we could hang it on Shills University after, and I might be up for that for a good hour or so. We'll see how it plays out here. The problem being is that whole thing, DK, with PayPal and everything crimping my style. So we'll see how it goes. But we should call it wraps here. And I want to make sure everybody's got a little bit of time to say, something, because we covered quite a bit of shit tonight. Just bullshit probably isn't an appropriate wrap up. So, let's turn to Charlie, who is the responsible for the idiot of the week in Flatzoid and taking us through the whole thing that is, oh, dear God. And what are your thoughts and wrap ups there, dude?
Yeah, I'd really appreciate the opportunity on that. That was easy because Flatzoid's a fucking idiot. And I thought tonight was pretty awesome. All over the map and stayed hot too. It was good.
Yeah. Good shout, man. Good shout. What do you think, DK?
Yeah, absolutely. A wonderful, introduction from Loki with his stories of woe with the idiots, and obviously Charlie with the idiot of the week. No, and also just Dick, a brilliant selection of world news, whatever the thoughts were. It was great to have those conversations and great to see the interaction in the chat. The only thing I was disappointed that God didn't show up to send us a massive fucking super chat, because that's what God does. So if you are watching God, you're not watching now because you're not in the chat. But if you're watching the replay, just remember to hit the the membership. Yeah, and subscribe. Yeah, you can throw in a thanks when you throw in your comment as well as doing the membership. God, absolutely, God. Yeah, you're so fucking omnipotent and fucking everywhere, but not here. Yeah, you cunt. Right. Okay. So I'll say good night to you all. Thank you very much. Good night. Kissy kisses, and see you and spoon you later. Bye.
All right. And from the man who knows the Force talking down to the Almighty, we go to Purple Rhymes with Orange for a little bit more reality.
Yeah, I just want to see a DNA test on the baby that was left at the airport and see if it matches either of the adults there.
Yeah, good call. Good call indeed. Speaking of which, good call. We've got a shout out to Liam Wakefield here for one fucking hell of a super chat for £100. He says, God here, with a cute little smiley face with a halo over the head. And Liam, tonight you are God. You deserve the title. That's a hell of a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, huge.
Wow. Good job, DK.
I wasn't e-begging or anything like that. I'm not fucking Sean Hawkins.
No, but you challenged God and you fucking answered. Good thing you didn't ask to be struck down by lightning.
No, yeah, oh yeah. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, God. Yeah, we love you very much, even though we don't believe in you. But thank you.
DK will never get struck by lightning. He's too close to the ground. Loki, you're the one who has to worry about it. You're taller than any of us, it seems.
You have antenna.
I got rubber socks on. I'm safe.
We're not going to ask why.
And so on the note of asking why, on the note of asking why, we turn to Lokifish and we ask why, of all ways of starting communication between Mars and Earth, do you choose to show us the ruins of the Care Bear idol, its temple, the place of holy worship? Why the Care Bears?
It was really, really bad acid.
Don't do that when I'm trying to have a sip of my beer, you asshole. Fuck.
It does kind of look like a crayon drawing from the Empress of Mars.
Oh no, she's much better an artist than that.
Oh yeah, she's a better host. Oh my God.
I just love the idea with a Martian with just a stick, like you do in the sand drawing on the beach. Just goes out and draws a little face. Fuck you, humans.
Hey, dude, let's go get really high and draw pictures in the sand. It's going to freak the humans out for weeks.
You remember when we did the face? Let's do it again with a Care Bear.
Yeah.
Those farmers fell hook, line, and sinker for those crop circles.
Yeah. Now let's draw a war machine and get them really fucking freaked.
The question is, what is it? What are its intentions? What are its capabilities?
So, on that note, I don't even know where to leave you tonight, fellow babies. I mean, number one, profits are skyrocketing, and yet we're paying a fortune. I'm not sure that's balancing out in our favor. If there's a ghost in your house, no, that wasn't tonight. Hold on a minute here. Flat Earth, chuckle, luckle, wuckle, have your 8-pack, but remember, when you wake up in the morning, it's no longer fun. Now it's a habit. Don't go there. And from us, I gotta say, big thanks to the new member there. Huge shout out to that huge super chat from it's Liam Wakefield in the live chat, but he's got a different name on Discord because he loves to make my life difficult. So thank you for that. And on that note, remember, when people are trying to sell you wooden nickels, you shouldn't take directions from them, because you'll end up at the North Pole wondering why you're surrounded by an army of penguins. Think about it. Good night, fellow babies.
Night all.
Good night.
Penguins at the North Pole.
Flat Earth?
It's over. Go home. Go.